As Princess of Wales, Diana undertook royal duties on behalf of the Queen and represented her at functions across the Commonwealth realms. She was celebrated in the media for her unconventional approach to charity work. Her patronages were initially centered on children and the elderly, but she later became known for her involvement in two particular campaigns. One involved the social attitudes towards and the acceptance of AIDS patients, and the other for the removal of landmines, promoted through the International Red Cross. She also raised awareness and advocated for ways to help people affected by cancer and mental illness. Diana was initially noted for her shyness, but her charisma and friendliness endeared her to the public and helped her reputation survive the public collapse of her marriage. Considered photogenic, she was a leader of fashion in the 1980s and 1990s. In August 1997, Diana died in a car crash in Paris. The incident led to extensive public mourning and global media attention. An inquest returned a verdict of unlawful killing following Operation Paget, an investigation by the Metropolitan Police. Her legacy has had a deep impact on the royal family and British society. Diana Frances Spencer was born on 1 July 1961, the fourth of 5 children of John Spencer, Viscount Althorp (1924–1992) and Frances Spencer, Viscountess Althorp née Roche (1936–2004). She was delivered at Park House, Sandringham, Norfolk. The Spencer family had been closely allied with the British royal family for several generations. Her grandmothers Cynthia Spencer, Countess Spencer, and Ruth Roche, Baroness Fermoy, had served as ladies-in-waiting to the Queen Mother. Her parents were hoping for a boy to carry on the family line, and no name was chosen for a week until they settled on Diana Frances after her mother and Lady Diana Spencer, a many times great-aunt who was also a prospective Princess of Wales, as a potential bride for George II's eldest son and heir Frederick. Within the family, she was also known informally as Duch, a reference to her duchess-like attitude in childhood. On 30 August 1961, Diana was baptized at St. Mary Magdalene Church, Sandringham. She grew up with 3 siblings, Sarah, Jane and Charles. Her infant brother John died shortly after his birth, 1 year before Diana was born. The desire for an heir added strain to her parents' marriage, and Lady Althorp was sent to Harley Street clinics in London to determine the cause of the problem. The experience was described as humiliating by Diana's younger brother Charles. "It was a dreadful time for my parents and probably the root of their divorce, because I don't think they ever got over it." Diana grew up in Park House, situated on the Sandringham estate. The family leased the house from its owner, Queen Elizabeth II, whom Diana called Aunt Lilibet since childhood. The royal family frequently holidayed at the neighboring Sandringham house, and Diana played with the Queen's sons, Princes Andrew and Edward. Diana was 7 years old when her parents divorced. Her mother later began a relationship with Peter Shandkide and married him in 1969. Diana lived with her mother in London during her parents' separation in 1967. But during that year's Christmas holidays, Lord Althorp refused to let his daughter return to London with Lady Althorp. Shortly afterwards, he won custody of Diana with support from his former mother-in-law, Lady Fermoy. In 1976, Lord Althorp married Rayne, Countess of Dartmouth. Diana's relationship with her stepmother was particularly bad. She resented Rayne, whom she called a bully. On one occasion, Diana pushed her down the stairs. She later described her childhood as very unhappy and very unstable. The whole thing. She became known as Lady Diana after her father later inherited the title of Earl Spencer in 1975, at which point her father moved the entire family from Park House to Althorp, the Spencer seat in Northamptonshire. Diana first met the Prince of Wales, the Queen's eldest son and heir apparent, when she was 16 in November 1977. He was then 29, and dating her older sister, Sarah. Charles and Diana were guests at a country weekend during the summer of 1980, and he took a serious interest in her as a potential bride. The relationship progressed when he invited her aboard the Royal Yacht Britannia for a sailing weekend to Cowes. This was followed by an invitation to Balmoral Castle, the royal family's Scottish residence, to meet his family. She was well received by the Queen Mother, and the Duke of Edinburgh. Charles subsequently courted Diana in London. He proposed on 6 February 1981 at Windsor Castle, and she accepted, but their engagement was kept secret for 2.5 weeks. Their engagement became official on 24 February 1981. Diana selected her own engagement ring. Following the engagement, she left her occupation as a nursery teacher's assistant and temporarily lived at the Queen Mother's residence, Clarence House. She subsequently resided at Buckingham Palace until the wedding where, according to the biographer Ingrid Seward, her life was incredibly lonely. Diana was the first English woman to marry the first in line to the throne since Anne Hyde married James, Duke of York and Albany, later James VII, and two over 300 years earlier, and she was also the first royal bride to have a paying job before her engagement. Diana's first public appearance with Prince Charles was at a charity ball held at Goldsmiths Hall in March 1981, where she was introduced to Princess Grace of Monaco. 20-year-old Diana became the Princess of Wales when she married Charles on 29 July 1981. The wedding was held at St. Paul's Cathedral, which offered more seating than Westminster Abbey, a church that was generally used for royal weddings. The service was widely described as a fairytale wedding and was watched by a global television audience of 750 million people, while 600,000 spectators lined the streets to catch a glimpse of the couple en route to the ceremony. At the altar, Diana inadvertently reversed the order of his first two names, saying Philip Charles Arthur George instead. She did not say she would obey him. That traditional vow was left out at the couple's request, which caused some comment at the time. Diana wore a dress valued at £9,000, equivalent to £36,700 in 2021, with a 25-foot 7.62-meter train. Within a few years of the wedding, the Queen extended Diana visible tokens of membership in the royal family. She lent her the Queen Mary's Lover's Knot tiara 4849 and granted her the badge of the Royal Family Order of Elizabeth II.